So you're thinking about getting a new car and you want the best deal. You've clicked on the right place. Let's not waste any more time and we'll jump into part 2 of this video series on how to beat the dealer. I'm Dan Wilson from Today Cars, and if you haven't seen part 1, I suggest you click here and watch part 1 before coming back. Otherwise, let's crack on. So you've already viewed the car and you've already test driven it. Now it comes down to the bit that most people hate, but some people don't mind talking about price with the salesman. So before you've even arrived at the dealership, you don't know it, but you've already been price conditioned. And we mentioned this before in part 1, conditioning, and there it is again, conditioning. Something that they do to you, you don't even know it's happening. The sales ad you viewed online, just a sticker price even on the car window in the dealership forecourt, if that said, say, 20 grand, this doesn't mean that's the price. That's just the price they want you to think it's worth. And if they're lucky, you'll pay it. It's like at a sofa store. The price says 1,200, now on sale at 700. But in reality, it never ever cost 1,200. It was always 700. But what you've got there is a price conditioning price of 1,200, and then the cheaper price of 700. And that's to make you think you're getting a deal. Makes you think it's better than it is. And it's like the dealers, they're the same. They're not going to come out with their cheapest price straight away. They'll tell you a higher price. In reality, they usually take a wee bit less, most of them. So, for instance, this 20,000 car we're talking about, that's the price condition price. They want you to think this is a 20,000 car before you're even at the dealership. So you've looked at the ad, or you've maybe seen it in the forecourt, but before you meet the salesman, you're already thinking this is worth 20,000. But usually you can get this car for less if you play your cards right. Crucially, a car is only worth what someone is willing to pay. So they can say 20, 25, but if no one is willing to pay that price, be it a dealership car, a private sale, whatever, it's not going to sell. Now, most stores or places you go to buy things have a fixed price. So if it says £10, it costs £10. And even some car dealers nowadays are like this, the price you see is the price you pay, it will say, or they'll tell you. But even then, you can still get a deal. You can ask for a full tank of fuel. You got a dog? Ask for a dog cage. Ask for a servicing plan. Anything you can think of that you don't, need to get, that they can throw into a deal just to help you out, because what's the worst that can happen? They'll say no. Well, you're still going to buy the car anyway if you like it. So you're not losing anything out. And it's money saved that you can then use elsewhere. In this current climate, cash is tight for everyone. So that wee bit more in your pocket, it's better there than their pocket. So in this 20,000 example we're talking about, it's just your average dealer. So they don't mind haggling, and it's not really a fixed price. They'd like you to think it is, but it's not. So you sit down at the desk, which is what they like, as this gets you at their level and in their zone. That's their happy place. So just keep yourself on the border of friendly but neutral. Being too negative might not work out well. You might alienate yourself, but also being overly positive can make getting a discount tricky. As like we spoke about in part 1, if you've said yes too many times or agreed with the salesman so much, it becomes really difficult to then say no when they say, do you want to pay 20,000 for this car? So they say, okay, the car costs 20,000. How would you like to finance it? Or, we've got the car for sale at 20, where do you want to be? When going for your discount, the numbers in your discount are really important. Asking for a 4-figure discount, so £1,000 or more, can seem quite cheeky, and in some cases, very well may be. And you might push yourself into a corner that's hard to get out of there. But if the car's been on sale a while, you might get that big discount. It's just, you need to judge the situation. It's one of the only bits of information that's really useful to find out for a salesman if this car's been on sale for a while, because they need to shift it. But the numbers are really important in this discount you're trying to get. Psychologically, 4 numbers is much larger than 3. So asking for a 1,000 discount as opposed to a 900 discount, which is crucially under 4 figures, that's always just that wee bit easier to deal with. But you have to be careful and know your pricing to the model you're after. You should always check and see what car prices or this model you're after is selling for at other places, and then bid accordingly. So we'll stick with a 900 discount. So we'll bid 19,100. So this now comes to another very, very important psychological trick. Sales staff know that people don't like uncomfortable silences, and you can end up speaking just to fill the silence. So after you bid, don't speak again. Stay silent. The salesperson might just smile at you, twiddle their thumbs, move their pen about the desk, but they won't talk. And the hope is you find it so awkward, you end up filling that silence yourself. So you speak again, increasing the bid, even though your first offer hasn't been refused. You'll end up saying something like, okay, how about 19.3, 19.4? Now remember, they haven't even refused your first bid and you're already increasing it. It's a wee trick, but trust me, it does happen. Speaking first means you'll likely say more, so just don't. At some point, they'll need to speak and react to your offer, as they'll start to seem ignorant if they've stayed silent for too long. So maybe even 30 seconds or longer, but just wait and let them speak. This small victory can push the deal in your direction. They may refuse your offer, give another price, or might even go for the old speak to a manager trick to waste some time. But by staying silent, you've left the onus on them. Now it's just a case of haggling out the final price, and a tidy discount can be yours. They may also try to drag this process out, as the longer it takes, the more likely you are just to accept a deal to get out of there. So be patient and stay as relaxed as you can. It's your money they're after, remember, nothing else. Someone that watched the first part told me a wee story that it sums it up perfectly. His dad took him to a dealership with his sister to view a car. So when the dad wanted to take the car for a test drive, the salesman said, "Oh, tell you what, your kids can go in the waiting room. We'll look after them. Don't you worry. All happy. Go out, drive the car, have fun. Let us know how it is when you come back." So he did. Came back to the showroom. Yep, car was fine. Okay, do you want to talk a deal? Do you know what? He says, I just want to sleep on it. Let me have a wee think overnight and I'll come back to you. Now, the salesman knows as soon as you walk out of there, the chances your deal are gone. And he was absolutely furious. Says to him, "I can't believe it. We even watched your kids and you're not buying this car. It's terrible." And so obviously he didn't buy the car. But that's just a wee insight of what a salesman can be. One thing here is, in some situations, for a popular car that sells easy or a really rare car that doesn't sell often, you might not get that big discount you're after, but it pays to still try because you've got nothing to lose. All they can do is just refuse that offer and then you can just increase it anyway. So it pays to try. Always again, remember though, if you aren't happy with the price or something else, anything, if it's not working out, just walk away. Get a car somewhere else. There will always be another car with a friendlier salesman, a better garage. So never ever think you've only got one option and get hammered down to a deal you don't want. There are lots of other wee intricacies in the art of sales, but this is just some of the basics covered. And using this knowledge, I'm sure the next time you need to buy a car or anything else for that matter, because I say these sales tricks work. Lots of different industries and salesmen, they're all taught, a lot of them are taught the same way, the same tricks, and people psychologically all fall for any of the same stuff. It's happened to me, it's happened to you before, I'm sure some of you, but just play your cards right and you'll get a deal. One final thing, after you agree a deal and before you drive the car away, please ensure to the best of your ability you've tested every feature of the car, there's no faults, no issues. Because once you drive away from that dealership, the second you're out the door, out the forecourt, the salesmen usually aren't interested, and if there's any issues, it can become a real problem to try and solve them. So just make sure either the car's perfect or you've flagged up stuff and you know it's going to get dealt with. As soon as you're out the door, your importance drops right off the scale and they're not that interested anymore. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. Please consider liking, sharing and subscribing this to help other people save money as well. Bye.